Oh, we are live. Hey guys, welcome back to All Things Cinema. It's been a while, I know, but it's worth the wait because there's so much happening in recent times in Malayalam cinema and cinema across India as well. Uh, I thought we have a couple of topics to touch upon, and we were originally going to do a video around Hema Commission report and its repercussions, but we have moved it to next week so that we have another guest on the panel. So for today, we thought to discuss the national awards, which were also recently given away, and a Malayalam film. There's no surprise, has won three national awards. Malayalam film Aattam, which came earlier in this year, I think in January, has fetched all those awards. And today's topic is basically around that. Is Atom really that good a film? And for that, I have Farad to discuss with me from Popcorn Reviews. Thank you, as always, Farad, for your time. And I'll cut
Pleasure.
straight to chase. You have seen Atom, you reviewed Atom on your channel as well. Is it that good a film that it got the national award out of thousands of films made in India every year?
I think it is a very fair kind of an assessment here. Remember, by the way, the national awards are of the year 2022, so it's a
Okay.
delayed national award. And just a
Yeah.
little criteria for our viewers also that national awards that are awarded in 2022, they are so the films that are eligible are from 1st of January 2022 to 31st of December. So if your film has been certified during this period, then you are eligible for that national award. Now, Atom I think was certified in 2022 because it had to do the rounds of film festivals and all of that. For a later release this year, it happened in 2024.
Mm.
Now, I did feel that I did feature Aattam in my top three Malayalam films this year, and I have no complaints. I mean, 2022, if you just jog your memory, which are the films that really made a mark? One of
Mm.
them, I think, was Kantara.
Right.
I think Kantara was a huge release, and I think that would have been a competition also. But other than
Mm.
that, that was a period in which the Hindi films weren't doing too well. I think 2022 also had. Did it have RRR? I think it did
Yeah.
have RRR, but
Right.
the certification you have to see. RRR may have been in
Mm.
2021, so that may not
Mm.
have been eligible at that point of time, which is why RRR, I think it was covered during the last national awards that are there. So, which are the films that are there? Nothing really comes to mind because that was a phase in which I think the Malayalam films were ruling, and which are the
Mm.
Malayalam films that were actually, really did well. I think we watched Janagana Mana together,
Yeah.
but was it better than Atom? I don't think so. There were a couple of other films that were there as well, like Roshak, Mammootty starrer Rorschach. That did not. I mean, that was a great film in itself, but was
Mm.
it better than Atom? I don't think so. Um, so the only other name that comes to my mind is Kantara, and I think
Mm.
it was a two-horse race between Kantara and Atom, and I was okay with either of the two winning. So I think Atom was okay. It did win. It was a good film at the end of the day, and much more relevant today, in which the topic that we are going to be discussing of the Hema
Yeah,
company reports.
absolutely.
So all the more.
Yeah, no, no. So that was my initial thought as well. Like it's so ironical in a way that we had to discuss a topic, but the film we chose to discuss kind of revolves around again sexual harassment at workplace, and that's what we have been hearing in recent times since that commission report was made public. And it's so interesting that the same year a film which got released is also on the same topic. And uh, so I saw your let's first say hi to Universal Cinema as well, who has joined us,
Hello,
and I think this is somebody from Pakistan, so he's very
Pakistan.
much
Yeah,
interested.
yeah. I remember.
And hello to Aditya Babu as well, who says Aattam was nice. Aditya, we know Aattam was nice, but the question today is it that good that it got the national award? So, Farhad, the categories it got awards in. I think it got in screenplay, if I'm not wrong. And I think, at least in
It won the
screenplay,
best film.
it did win a couple of other awards as well, right?
I'll have to check, but definitely did win best film
Yeah.
in the overall category that was there, and the best Malayalam film was awarded to Saudi Velakka, which is another good
Yeah.
film. But overall, from all the films that were there, I think the best film was Aattam that was awarded.
Yeah. So,
I don't know about the screenplay though, and best actor then went to Rishabh Shetty for Kantara.
right, right. Of course.
And
So,
I think Kantara also won the Popular Choice Award, if I'm not wrong.
so
Best film in the
going
Popular
back
Choice.
to Aattam, like I saw your review as well, and rightly so, and a lot of other people compared it with the template that 12 Angry Men follow, or there was a film called 12th Man as well in Malayalam cinema a couple of years ago, which was again loosely based on that template. But where do you think Aattam sort of stands out? Is it the deep layered, storytelling of this film, where the characters, you don't actually know that whether it's a sheep in wolf clothing or it's a wolf in sheep clothing, right? So is it the layering of the storytelling, or is it something else that you think kind of stands out in that template in which we have seen so many films across industries?
So I think it is firstly brave storytelling.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. It's very brave storytelling. It's almost, you can say, the themes that are there in Aattam that are explored. You see all the men gather to come to a consensus on who was responsible,
Mm.
which is similar to the kind of heinous act that we're seeing on social media uproar that is there, the Kolkata case and the other case that is there in Badlapur, amongst the others. Um, so I feel the themes that are there, the themes that it was trying to say, that it was so easy in the social media medium to say, not all men are responsible, some men are responsible, but all men at the end of the day were also responsible in some way or the other, is what the film says.
Yeah.
And at the end, it leaves with an open ending, so you don't, so
Mm.
spoilers, you don't know who exactly is the culprit, which is there, which basically blurs the lines between the culprit and who all are responsible. So everybody
Yeah.
is responsible. So I
Yeah.
think it was very brave storytelling at the end of the day. It was very progressive. It also did take that concept of the template of 12 Angry Men and turned it on its head. I think this was not a perfectly
Yeah.
followed template, with a lot of variations, I felt, and in a good way, I'm saying,
Mhm.
in a very good way, I'm saying, and I think for that, I think Atom deserves a lot of credit. So for
kind
me,
of like
I
ki- kind of like how Joji was not a perfect adaptation, but it was partially adapted from the Shakespeare's play. So same way here, it's not, like it's a nice spin-off, you could say, in a way of 12 Angry Men's
It's
template.
very brave storytelling. It's very
Yeah.
brave. The storytelling was very brave. So,
And
and
it
very
also
relevant.
kind of, like how you said that, not all men, but why always men? So that also not just reflects the Hema Commission report that we earlier touched on, but also in a way the Kolkata case that's been going on for more than a month now. So right, I mean, again, the films are made out of the society we live in. Right, the stories are born out of the society. It's a reflection of that, and what this film has shown, or the boldness, or the brave storytelling that you are also pointing out, that's where I also feel that this film does have its USP. I think there was a film called Article 375 in Bollywood, if I'm not wrong, which again did loosely talk about these things, but not in as much detail. And this film also kind of revolves around how the burden of proof is on women, in especially in this
But
case.
Article 375 was the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah,
The way it ended,
yeah.
this was completely opposite. And I one thing that was there, and I always had complaints other than Ulolukku and Aattam. No other Malayalam films this year at least have strong female characters,
Hmm.
and that is something that I have my eye on, and that is that
Hmm.
one gripe that I have, and it's almost reflective also a little bit of the Hema committee report also, in which you also see in of course, of another day we'll discuss this, but just to slightly touch upon it because it's
Yeah.
correlated that you see so many actors who were once a part of the industry now working in other industries
Hmm.
without naming anybody. So I
Hmm.
think the the one thing that worked in favor of Atom was the strong female presence also by Zareen.
Yeah.
I think she did a wonderful job, and I think the character was also very well written, and the symbolism of a woman
Yeah.
amongst the sides of patriarchy, I think that was really well covered as well.
How did it do box office wise? Like, do you
Not not great,
so do you
not
think
great.
it's one of those films which kind of later got a little bit of a cult
Yeah.
following, especially after maybe the OTT release, and
Yes.
now the national award might add to the
More
uh,
so after the national award, but the OTT definitely was better. It was stage wise. Theatrical didn't get a
yeah,
great response, relatively speaking, although it was made at a very less budget. Then the
yeah.
OTT came in and people started discovering, but not talking as much. And I think after the
Hmm.
national awards started talking, but unfortunately again cut short by the Hema committee report. So the buzz again diluted.
Yeah, I remember the last time we did the live with Ashmita when we picked our top five, I think, or top three. I think you did pick it that time as well.
Yeah, Atom
Uh,
was.
coming to the performances, like Vinay Fort is always a bankable actor. We have seen it in previous films as well. But here, like it felt like he was in a different league altogether, and like because now he's become one of those experienced actors, and having done so much of credible work here, it gives him a lot of time to shine as well. And do you think this could be somewhat of a breakthrough moment for him as well, or career trajectory wise?
I mean, yes and no. I don't think. I mean,
I
it was
mean,
a great performance.
with the national award, I'm saying, like
Recognition wise, yes. Recognition wise, yes. But I think his screen time was almost divided amongst all the men and Zareen. So
yeah,
uh, it wasn't as if he was the only one who was there. There were other performances that were also there. But I see where you're coming from. So Vinay Fort is a great actor, I would say. A slightly underrated. You won't
mm,
talk about him in the same breath as say a Papa or
yeah,
Prithviraj amongst the peers, amongst his peers that are there.
mm,
I'm not counting Mammootty, Mohanlal.
mm,
And so in that case, yeah, in terms of recognition, people will be, but whether it will translate into more work, I don't know. I think he's also been very choosy with his
yeah.
choices, not been too, indulgent with his choices. So I think that's, I think, going to maintain. But nevertheless, he's a great actor. I remember watching, I think we had watched him in Churuli as well,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
and some of the other films. So
And what did
yeah,
you what did you make of Zareen?
Zareen is a fabulous actor, I would say. Fabulous actor, and I think her screen presence was amazing here. It's not easy to stand out amongst the crowd. Yes, it
Absolutely.
was a good written character, but absolutely stunning with the way she performed as well. The layers that she brought to a character, I think it was wonderful. And you almost see a tonal change in a character. Slightly more carefree at the start to a lot, cautious after the incident that happens. And that body language, I think, was very important with the way she exerted herself. So I think it was wonderful. The performance was wonderful, and she's done a bunch of work already. um, but I think this for Zareen particularly. I think it will be a breakthrough role. Not may
Mm,
not be for Vinay Ford, but for
yeah.
Zareen definitely. I think this is a step ahead in the career.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, why I brought up Vinay Foot was one, I had seen him in a Malayalam film after quite some time, and I was kind of really impressed with how consistent he has been over the years as well. But here, I kind of got to have a little different version of him, and with Zareen. As you said, like it's a monumental effort to stand out among so many people, and uh, could be such an empowering film for all those women who have sort of suffered, so to speak, in the same industry. Let's take a couple of comments. Universal Cinema says, I think the director does not want us to find the real culprit. I think that was the whole point of the movie. If we found the culprit, viewers will just hate on the culprit and not the group.
Yeah.
And then he continues, but with the culprit still in shadow, the true color of the whole group is being shown to the viewers. If they reveal the real culprit, the whole point of the movie will be nothing.
I think in addition to this, what it was that it wasn't just the group, but a
Yeah.
commentary on all the male gender that is there, and how people do discuss and pass on the buck to each other,
Yeah.
even when they might be at fault directly or indirectly. So I think that
Yeah.
was the purpose of it by not
And
revealing at the end.
Aditya says Aattam explores how society often reacts when a woman
Yeah.
accuses a man, highlighting how men can be unfairly attacked without hearing their side of story. It's not a who did kind of a film. Yeah, I mean that's so when we started talking about this, I like we touched upon the fact that it's the layering of this film which really stands out, right? So that sort of does involve how it's not just a who done it, it's not a run of the mill thriller, right? It's much more than that. It's beyond that, and that's what Aditya really. I think that's the point of his comment as well. Would you agree with Aditya? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very similar to the Me Too movement that was part
hmm,
of the Hindi film industry, although those were just words at the end of the
yeah,
day and there were no actions that were delivered. And as
yeah,
far as actions are concerned, which is why the Hema committee report needs to also translate into actions. And I think that's
hmm,
what he's saying that, uh, how whenever a woman accuses a man, it is something of a point of discussion which is there, and yeah.
yeah. And I think Universal Cinema, since he's in Pakistan, he will sort of remember when Ali Zafar was accused of sexual harassment by Nisha Shafi, and that's how people reacted. And I think that case is still sort of unsolved, and nobody knows what the real truth is. He also says director deliberately made it in such a way that everyone seems to be a culprit, and I think that's the beauty of this
Yeah,
story and the storytelling and the
good writing.
screenplay. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, but yeah, I mean, we wanted to find out whether this film did deserve the national award or not, and I think we've kind of come to an agreement that it indeed did. Uh, and yeah, I mean, Malayalam cinema keeps surprising us sometimes, mostly in positive ways, but this time it did surprise us in a negative way as well. And Aattam is a film perfect. I mean, the timing is so perfect that the same year the Hema Commission report is out, the same year we get a film which does revolve around sexual harassment for women at workplace, and now the burden is on her to prove the point. So hopefully, we come back next week as well to discuss Hema Commission report in detail as well, probably with Ashmita, hopefully. Uh, and let's just finish this with the last comment. Years of brilliant working play group got shattered due to domino effect of jealousy. I think,
um I don't think that was the exact theme of the film, but you can read it in any which way.
yeah, everyone is entitled to their opinion. But thank you, Farad, for taking our time on a short notice. We had been inactive on the channel for a couple of months, but hopefully this sort of, restarts the run again. And I will see you soon, and I will see all the people who were watching or who will watch on the replay later on. We'll see you next week, probably on a Monday. Until then, This is Keshav. I will continue to be Keshav next week as well. And this was for Art from Popcorn.